Hello friends, this is Wendy. I am a scrapbooker, a junk journaler, a paper crafter. I love all things Tim Holtz and Disney. And right now, I'm super excited because it is Solstice! Happy Solstice! So, I'm going to take a break from Disney Christmas stuff and we are going to create sunshiny paper. I don't know how much of this I'll be able to get to today. I am heavily inspired by Kath Stewart. She has a blog on Blogspot called All That Glitters, and it's like Kath, All That Glitters. She is one of Tim Holtz makers. She's also a maker for Simon Says Stamp. She's also a large contributor to Tim Holtz Addicts. That is a Facebook group. And all you have to do is, sign in and answer certain questions because it's a private group. But anybody can join if you want to follow, especially follow Tim's makers and all things Tim Holtz. And let's see, what else does she do? She's just amazing is what she is. So I am being heavily inspired by her today. She's on Pinterest. This is where I pulled her up off of. And I was like, oh, good. I love her style. Anyway, so we will get started. So first I have two panels that are 8x6. So I would have to probably trim them down, but they would fit on a little golden book page, in that. Since I'm making backgrounds, so I'm not going to do any finished art. I just want sunshiny stuff. I also want to experiment. Well, we'll see if we get that far. Anyway, so the first thing, I'll even show you. I got this off of Pinterest. And I've ordered this stamp, but it hasn't arrived yet. And I don't have this other stamp, and I haven't ordered it. But I do have many of the other designs that she has. So I'm going to follow her directions, at least in the beginning, and then I'm probably going to go off on my own. So she says, fossilized amber and wild honey. They're both distressed inks. I have fossilized amber as distressed, but I don't have wild honey as oxide. I have fossilized amber in oxide, but not wild honey, but we're going to live with that. Okay, so she just smushed it and splatted it and spritzed it. So let me get this other paper out of the way. And I guess I will start with the distress. I only need one of these. I'm tempted to just do this on a smaller one. Maybe I will. I'll start small and go bigger. How's that? We'll see if I get to this. Anyway, yeah, I'm just getting my feet wet, right? And so these are 6 by 4.5. The page that I had was 12 by 9, and so I made it 6 by 4.5. So we will start with this one and see how this goes. Yep, she totally did the spritz and smush kind of a thing. So we'll start with the oxide. I may have done that backwards because I really think you're supposed to start with the other one. Oxide does kind of funny, interesting things. I don't want to forget, I don't like the bumpy side of watercolor paper. So I'm just going to bring it through and let it dribble down. I'm going to bring it through again. Let it kind of dribble down. This is total excitement, right? I just watched a couple of Tim Holtz tutorials on paint. I have ordered some Tim Holtz paint. Oh, I'm so excited. And so once they come, we will be playing with paint. Let me just want to wipe this little bit up here. But I've got some other goodness here to pick up. So I will play some more happy sunshiny music and we'll move on from there. Then use the wild honey and put it through his new brushed hex. But I don't have that one, but I do have this one. This one's called Honeycomb. It's old because it's got a name. They stopped naming them, I don't know, early on. And it's 05. So I'm going to do that here. And she just kind of does it in a few different places. So let me get I like wild honey so much that it has its own thing. Okay. I cleaned up my desk the other day. I think I even said, oh, I had to clean up my desk. But I cleaned it up and I threw away all of the little bits and bobs of the, I want it to go down a little more. Of the painter's tape that I have just, sitting around my desk. So. Okay, let's see how that goes. I like that. Whew, I like that a lot. Should I put some in the other corner? Let's see, what did she do? I think she did. I think she put some in down here. She likes to do that. I looked at several of her designs, and she has it where it's kind of split, where she has something up here and then something else down here. Now, I live in Utah, northern Utah, which, by the way, it rained today. It snowed in the mountains, which is good for everybody who wants to go skiing. But no snow here, which, again, I've mentioned. My husband has been praying pretty fervently. No snow, please. I'm a trucker. I don't want to drive in it. So anyway. But, all right. So that's step 2. I like this so far. I like this like a lot. Let's see what her next step is. Okay. And I have this. So I am going to use some peeled paint on, they're called tiny prints. I was going to put it on here, but I think I'm only going to be doing like a little dab here and a little dab there. So let's see how this goes. Okay, right away. This is my mistake. I know better. I'm supposed to hold it like this. Then I wouldn't get that nasty little square that I sure don't want, but I will definitely later on cover it or do something with it. And I can always spritz this with water too to soften anything I'm not happy with. So I'm going to go like that. Oh yeah, that's better. And then like that. Maybe over here. I don't know now. I'm not happy. Let's try there. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do now is spritz with water because everything is water reactive. So let's see what happens. Put a little spritz to it. Get my rag and start picking up dots. I should have shown it really close before I spritzed. Look at how now it takes some of the color away and makes it look all, I don't even know what to call it. Wonderful. How's that? Wonderful. I'm going to put a drop right here, a big drop, which Just kind of hold it and squeeze slowly. Tim Holtz does it, and it makes this process look very easy. There we go. There we go. Maybe it's not so hard. After all, since I just did it. Okay. See, that'll soften those edges like a lot even over here. Now this is the point where we're just gonna play with what we want to do, because now she veers off into something else that I don't want to do. So this is looking good so far. What else should we do? What should we do? Should we put some text on there, you know, just sort of randomly? I think so. I think we should. So I pulled out two of my favorite texts. This is from Exquisite, and this is from the Toadstools. I think I'm going to do the Toadstool one. I'm going to use Vintage Photo because it is a favorite. I'm going to do that, and then I think I'll put it in several places, and we'll see what happens. So now I'm going to do something I have literally never, ever done before. My distress paint is old. You can tell that it's old from the top, because it was a few years back that he switched to a little flip top, and I guess I could buy the flip tops, but I'm just going to do a little dabble do you kind of a thing here. And we're going to do two things with this. The first one, I'm going to reuse, where's that little stamp thing? Hold on. So my first project is going to be, Tim Holtz says this is supposed to spin. Mine is like not spinning. Wonder why. Do I have it backwards maybe? Well, we'll see what happens here. I'm going to take some of this off. And I'm going to just run it across, run my brayer. So this is a brayer. This is where the messiness kind of happens. Okay, I'm going to have to look into why. Oops, I'll go this way. Why my brayer does not spin. This is the very first time I've ever done this. So, let's see how this works. So I'm gonna just hold that down and press. Maybe if I go like this, I'll be happier. And I'll go down here and do this. Maybe. I'm gonna I was gonna use this for two projects, but maybe not. I like the results with it down here better. I'm gonna put some more right here. Let's see. I may use acrylic paint. Okay. Well, let's try it and see what happens. He does say you want to clean the paint off of stamps fairly quickly. And since I'm in the dining room and the kitchen is, you know, like maybe 4 giant steps that way, I probably am going to just go and clean that up. And the brayer. And then figure out why my brayer doesn't spin like it's supposed to. I'm going to try this again, this time with acrylic paint. Now, some of it did get exactly what I wanted, which was like nice white little blotches. But others, probably because of the liquid and the ink, I didn't get what I wanted. So I'm gonna try again. Okay. I'm just gonna spread this out. This is what he says to do. Spread it out like that. Put a little bit on. Actually, I'll probably put it on here. Ooh, liking that already. Maybe I'll just do this. And I'm sure I need to immediately wash this as well. So let's just try this and see if it does what I want it to do. So I'll go a little differently. That's more like what I want. I press too hard, and I've noticed that with all stamping, I get a funny little thing. I should be just barely touching if I want to get splatters. So for some unknown reason, I want my splatters all around the edges. I don't know, which is not really a very true indicativeness. I'm not sure if that's even a word, to what I really wanted to do, but okay, I'm gonna do one more right there. All right, so I'm just gonna clean up. So let me tell you my impressions of this one. First of all, I love it. It's fabulous. I would do something like, I would call this a background. I would ink the edges. I would put something in the center. Probably not a photo, but, you know, flowers or something, maybe a stem. So this is something I will definitely do at another date. You know what my big problem was with this in the first one here? Let me move it tighter so you can see. I did not have a clean stamp. So that's on me, totally. Okay. But the rest turned out great. I'm actually real happy with that splatter. I was able to splatter without splattering. Let me go back. Without splattering. You've done that, right? Where you've splattered and it's splattered all right. It's splattered into, you know, the next door neighbors. All right, it just, that's why we have splatter boxes that I don't use. Oh, well. Okay, on to project number 2. Well, I have a tale to tell, and I'm going to zoom this in so you can see it really well. This is my second one. You're like, but we didn't see you make it. Of course you didn't see me make it, because I called this an epic fail. I was so unhappy. I shut off my phone, my camera, and I deleted all of the videos making this, and I almost cried. I didn't cry, but I made it fit. And then I did the smartest thing I guess I could have done, and I went on Facebook to Tim Holtz Addicts, and I posted a couple of pictures of this, and I said, epic fail, what did I do wrong? And I explained, you know, what paper I used and everything, and I got a lot of information. Multiple people responded, and the big takeaway is that oxide ink, I don't have one out right now, or I'd pull that out to show you, but the oxide ink, so this is distress ink, right? He also has distress oxide, and oxide has pigment in it, and therefore it is thicker, and therefore it is slower to dry. So one of the things that happened was that I tried to do this technique of doing the embossing over ink that was not fully dry. Some of it got absorbed, so some of the embossing liquid here, the goo, it's goo, got absorbed, and therefore it didn't emboss because it was still wet. And that's what happened here. Here, I had just inked with my Twisted Citron. Let me get where you can see it. It's a little harder when I've got it all zoomed in. But I had just inked the Twisted Citron, and that hadn't dried all the way. And that's how I got this. Because it, let me go here. Because the embossing powder stuck to anything that was wet. Now this is new. I don't emboss often. It's called heat emboss, I think. Anyway, I don't do it often, but I want to do it more. I'm gonna zoom out now. But I want to do it more, and I want to do more of these mixed media projects. I did just order, let me see how many. I just ordered 13. Ooh, that's not a lucky number. Oh well, but I did. I ordered 13 bottles of the distress paint in a variety of colors. And so I have 2 already, and then I got 13 more. So I have 15, and that's not so unlucky. And I also just got this gold embossing powder, which I want to use. And they had gold and they had princess gold, but I went with just gold. Anyway, so I'm going to finish this one up. Yeah, this came in the mail yesterday right after I threw my fit, and I thought, oh, okay, happy me. But I want to finish this up. So I'm going to first start with doing, I really like this one, and I don't use it often enough. And I may use multiple colors on it. What I want to use now this for is I will cut things out of it. This is gonna definitely go in my drawer. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry because I am really not sure that I'm happy with it or not. This is what oxide does. It will fade out a lot. There is a product, and I literally have never, ever, ever used it, but I have it. And I have seen that if you use this Distress Glaze over the oxide, it will brighten up the color. I think I might... At this point, I gotta dry it. Hold on. So I'm gonna be brave. I always said it being brave. I don't like making mistakes. The thing is, okay, so the idea behind you get what you get and you don't make a fit. Tim talk, right? He says that a lot. The idea behind it, though, is that you never know when you are playing around and experimenting for the first time. You never really know what you're going to get, and so you get what you get. I'm playing around for the first time, and I wasn't sure what I would get, and I kind of got something I didn't fully want. Now you know what I like. I'm probably going to spritz it one more time, too, and see what else I get. So it's play, right? And this piece of paper was not meant to be super important. It was never meant to be, I had this all planned out, and I was definitely going to use it in a project. This was all part of, play with me session, right? I'm learning. I mean, I know how to put paper on paper on paper, and then put it in a scrapbook, a 12 by 12 scrapbook, as a matter of fact, right? That's what I know how to do. This is all new for me. So if you are also new and wanting to explore different ideas, I do kind of like that. I feel like I need to, well, first, that's still wet. think I'll dry it and try that distressed glaze and see what happens. So I got a clean foam. I've never even opened this. Gotta open it. We'll see what it does. I have seen on YouTube what other people have done with it. So let's see what it does for me. And I suppose if I am deeply unhappy, I will throw this away and start over again, right? So let's see what this does. Wow, already. Let's look at the difference here. Oops, I guess I do need that still out. So let's do kind of make sure that we see before. So let's look at this before, because this is already a brighter, more vibrant color than it was. Focus over here. And I think once I have put this glaze on there, I am calling this, you know, done. So, but look, okay, so before it was rather dull looking, and now it's more vibrant. Don't know how well it really works over the embossed. Definitely brings out the embossing more. I'm going to do the edges. We'll see what happens with the edges. Okay, I've got vintage photo, so I just need its tool. I'm just going to do the edges. I like the addition of the pink. And this was worn lipstick. Not really sure why I am finishing the edge, because it's probably just going to go in my drawer. So today is the shortest day of the year in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it would be the longest. Let me find my other one, and I'm going to put this distressed glaze on it too. So before I do the glaze, I am going to do the vintage photo around the edge. This one I do want to use as a you know, something. I'm not going to cut it up as alphabets or flowers or anything. I want to actually use it intact. So let's try this also with the glaze. This feels very warm and sunny. I have some funky insects, which includes a bee. I also have some cute and adorable bees that are not by Tim Holtz, because, you know, they're cute and adorable. We live in Utah, as I've mentioned before. Northern Utah, we're really close to Idaho. And we are the beehive state. The local high school mascot, you know, they're the bees. These aren't cute, adorable bees, though. These are bees with boxing gloves on and massive stingers, and they're ready to take down their opponents, right? We have beehives on all of the Utah routes on the roads that are not interstate, but the Utah state roads. They all have beehives on them. And our local city hall, the old one that's been around since the 1800s, has a beehive on it. Big beehive on it. When you go into Salt Lake, you see all kinds of beehives all over the place. So I do like the way this looks. And it really does bring out. So I think with oxide, you need to pair it, well, or I need to pair it with this distressed glaze. Now it's a little tacky, and so it seems like this has to dry too. So I am going to set these aside. So as I mentioned, today is the solstice, and it is the shortest day of the year, but we gain. Oh, I can't wait to find out how much we gain tomorrow. But we gain tomorrow, right? And it may be a minute, it may be less than a minute, but I am going to enjoy that minute of daylight. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm going to do some more sunny, because I cut up all those papers. I'm going to do some more sunny experimenting tomorrow. And if I change my mind and do something else, forgive me. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this, even though I did, like have this epic fail and then, get talked out of that, and I like this definitely well enough to cut up. So it's not going in the trash. I guess that's what I should say. This one I love. I love everything about it. But if you enjoyed this, please give it a big thumbs up. Hit the notification bell and subscribe if you haven't already. I enjoy doing these projects with you. In fact, because I want to come up with kind of new ideas and everything, it pushes me into not just doing the same thing I've done, for 20 years, but to do something different. And I like that. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day. And I hope you tomorrow enjoy your additional minute of daylight if you're in the northern hemisphere. And don't cry too hard if you're in the southern hemisphere, because it'll be a little while before you'll start to feel the darkness, right? And have a wonderful day.